Achan, fellow citizens, we are Tanshbantu. The progress of the country is in the hands of the people. Today, I want to mention something very important, comment on something very important. Why we cannot develop, why we cannot seem to get a hold of, get a hand on our economy, why if we do not do something else, we will never change course in this country. Why we will never get our people out of poverty, and why politicians will always steal from us or treat Zambians as tertiary citizens. Today I'm going to just lay it out, and I'm going to use a perfect example. I'm going to demonstrate to you exactly why our country is not going to develop until something big changes within us. Who is responsible for our country? Who is going to be responsible for our country's failure to develop, failure to improve economically, failure to improve in governance, failure to improve in the delivery of government services, failure for the government to provide the security that is required, failure for the government to provide safety, failure for the government to provide for the general welfare of the citizens, failure of the government to provide an environment in which every citizen should endeavor to succeed with a reasonable with reasonable expectations that will happen, and to pursue happiness. Why is that all not going to happen? And why is it that we, the citizens, are responsible? We, the citizens, nobody else, are responsible for this. We are responsible for the rot. We are responsible for everything that happens in the country. It's not the PF, it's not any MMD, it's not the government. It's we, the people. Remember, the power of government comes from us. We relinquish a single 1% of our freedoms to give power to the government to do those things that we cannot accomplish individually. So today I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to tell you exactly why our country is going to I want to tell you, there are a lot of misguided citizens among us. They are very enlightened. They are citizens that are very, very enlightened about these issues, and they know exactly why. Many, many citizens out there that know exactly why. Unfortunately, there are very, very many citizens that I would call functionally illiterate. Functionally illiterate. These are educated citizens that have no idea why our country keeps going down, why we can complain and complain to the government and nothing happens, why a new government can come in and, appeal to our sensibilities for a few months and all that stuff, and we go back to the same thing. Even these educated people do not know, let alone the majority of all Zambians in rural areas, wherever. The problem is us, the citizens. Let me just get to it, okay? Today, I'm going to read you some comments from our fellow citizens, and then I'm going to use them as the starting point, so to speak, and as the basis for our discussion today. Hopefully, it'll go quickly, okay? But stick with me, because I want to show you exactly why our country is not going anywhere. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it will take for our country to go somewhere. Okay? I hope those things matter to you. So stick with me for a little bit here. So, and I am going to use some of the comments that were posted by our fellow citizens. Look, I want to point out, look at this picture right here. This, when I babble on sitting here, this is what I think about, guys. This is what I think about. I just don't babble on. This is what I think about. Look at these beautiful faces. Look at these beautiful faces. It's just just adorable. They look so happy. They don't even know what they really deserve. They don't even know that they could be so much more than this. It's so innocent spirits, and our own governments and stuff like that. Our own governments have convinced these people that this is all they can be. And if you don't know what you can be, you are content with what you are. So if you are really poor, you are content with being really poor. It's almost like you have, tons of gold stashed away somewhere, and it's yours. But somebody tells you it's not yours. And somebody does not tell you that you are entitled to it. And you remain very poor. But whatever you're struggling with, you manage to find the joy in there. And somebody's using your gold and they're trading with it and everything, and they're messing around with it, misappropriating it, and whatever else you can think of. These people right here, that's us. That's us. And many of you Zambians, many of us, fellow citizens, you are putting all your faith in that man over there. That man right there. That man is who you are putting your faith as a rescue next year. So let's get to it. I'm going to bring up something here. I'm going to bring on the Facebook timeline for Mr. Hakainde Hichilema here. Okay. And that other picture over there is just, this is what happens. This is the nonsense that happens when the government administration goes wrong. They spray you in the face. They beat you up. Their cadres have more power than the police. They use the police on you. And that's what happens. So when is this going to end? Okay. Let me tell you what the problem is. Okay. All right. Let me bring up Mr. Hichilema's Facebook page. This is Mr. Hichilema's Facebook page. And here is what he posted here. And it says, keep calm, be patient. Change is coming. Okay. Let me scroll down here and see when this was actually. Can I see when this was? Yeah. This was posted 4 days ago. Today is July 21st, 2020. Okay. So this was posted on July 17th. That's 4 days ago. So I want you to see, or we'll go through together just a few comments before I make my main comment. So I keep this short. Okay. It says, keep calm, be patient, change is coming. Now let's look at some of the comments that come from the citizens. Let's get into the mind of our citizens. Okay. And I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem why this country is not going anywhere until something big happens. And not something big as in physically, something big in the minds of our citizens happens. Okay. Let's see. Okay, that was my comment here. But let me go right here. Let's see what Sarah Kalue says. We have worked so hard over the years to put you in the White House, in State House. I believe she said she means State House, and we won't stop now because 2021 is our year of freedom. We trust you because you have the heart of the people of Zambia. We love you, Bali. Miss Sarah Kalue Chijikwa in Mazabuka. Listen to that comment. Listen very, very carefully. We trust you because you have the heart of the people of Zambia. You have the heart of the people of Zambia. Okay. Why? Does she know? How does she know? I don't know. I don't know how she knows that. We love you, Bali. And she loves him for some reason. She loves him. Okay? Mrs. Sarah Kalue. So she loves him for some reason. Here's another citizen. Alexander Martinez. Alexander Martinez. Your intelligence is appreciated and adored, but somewhat can be subjected to doubt and questioning. Fair enough. Anyway, the point is, how do you expect us to become impatient because change is coming when we are the people who can bring the so-called change, and you just help to accomplish it? Exactly. That's a good point. He is correct 100%. Or maybe you have other means of bringing change, what we the people don't know about and won't be part of. See, he is concerned. Fair point. Very, very good point right here. This citizen is thinking. So let's go ahead and look at something else. Another comment. Jonathan Singoyi. We know change is on its way. How does he know? I don't know how he knows. We know change is on its way. But sir, get more serious with everything. Don't take things too light, cause PF is not just an ordinary thing. They are full of tricks. See another citizen. He's sitting somewhere in a chair, somewhere in the country. And essentially he's saying, please work hard. Do whatever you can for us and win so you can kick. The only thing that this citizen has to give is his vote. All right. So does the other citizen. All these citizens, the only thing that they have to give so far is just the vote. Go there and tick mark Hakainde Hichilema. That's all they have to do. Okay. That's all they have to do. They don't have right so far. They don't have to do anything else. So let's move on and see another citizen. Okay, let me jump over. I want you to note the theme of these comments. The theme of these comments is that we have citizens sitting somewhere and they are looking at Mr. Hakainde Hichilema and they say, do it for us. Work hard as you can. You know, campaign, essentially campaign nationwide, just do whatever you can. Do whatever you have to, means you reach as many people you have to reach. Do whatever, set up whatever structures are necessary. Please do everything you have to do to win. Because we have to give you the vote, and I want my vote to be added on to another vote. So go all over the country and get people's votes. Okay. So, all right. So now let's see if I can get some really telling ones. Hello, Martin Nyanjaga. Hello, tomorrow it's darkest before dawn. Patience, perseverance, endurance have always been the driving force behind our collective and common expected goal. Emancipation from mental, economic, political, financial, poverty, inequalities, tribalism, nepotism, corruption, hatred, foreign dominance, extrajudicial killings, etc. slavery. That's the expected goal that he's talking about. Okay? Fair point. Be brave, Sue Goma. Be brave, be inspiring, be a man of your word. You have a big following and a hope entrusted in you by many to deliver to this great nation. Your homework, sir, is to critically analyze what you can and can't do as described in your manifesto within specified time and workable framework. You are a bright promise to the people. Avoid shady characters to ride alongside you as you campaign, i.e. William Banda. And trust me, your campaign should intensify. Listen to this. And trust me, your campaign should intensify now, both on social media and even more harder on the ground. See what this citizen is saying? Intensify your campaign on social media and on the ground, especially on the ground, even harder on the ground. See here the theme? They are all saying, please campaign harder. Campaign harder. Let me read one more. Let me read just one more, and then we'll get to discuss this. To discuss the heart. What is at the heart of our country's failures? All right. Okay. I want to skip to a comment here. I think there's one that is really telling. Okay. Here is a comment by Clement K. Mutale. Okay. Right here. I want you to listen to this very carefully. Your Excellency, the President, Mr. HH, I honor you, sir. I know nothing is impossible with God. You were once on radio program in Northern Province and you made a public donation to someone. You gave him a cow. Now here I come on public to seek help. I'm a committed youth who has dreams. I am a committed youth who has dreams, though it has not yet come to pass. I know it because you don't know my need, but I'll tell you. I am committed with farming, running a business as an agricultural dealer. What I lack is enough capital. Please, sir, this is your right time to intervene. Here, you hear that? This citizen is asking Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to intervene in his business by providing him capital. This is the right time before your elections. Essentially is saying, show me that you deserve the vote of the people. Show that you deserve my vote by doing something philanthropic. So the mindset of the people is that, and this happens all the time, is that the candidate for president, somebody who is running for president, must demonstrate that they are worthy of their vote by doing philanthropic projects. Performing, undertaking philanthropic projects and donating to people, sending kids to school. What have you done for the people? Create jobs for the people and all that. They expect the candidate to have all that stuff done and helping citizens in whatever way he can. But then again, they also expect him to be campaigning really hard on the ground. Okay? And it's a huge thing. How many times has HH lost? 6 times. Each of those times he campaigned nationwide, and the first time, the second time, it grew. He had to strengthen his structures. The third time he had to strengthen his structures. Fourth time, same. Fifth time, sixth time, which was last 2015, he had to strengthen all these structures. He has structures all over the country. And this party is growing with cadres and all these people that need members that need to somehow eat out of this party. And it's not in government yet. But these people are sitting, the people commenting on here. Sometimes this makes me feel very sorry for this citizen. This citizen is just Clement Mutale. What he's saying. What he's saying makes me feel really sad. It makes me feel really sad for the country. Because he does not know. He actually does not know what is good for him. That's how sad this is. He does not know what is really good for him. So he expects Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to give him capital, give a whole bunch of other citizens capital, and essentially, help the poor people of the country, while he's running for president, so that he can deserve that vote. Because you know why they think this way? Our citizens think this way? It's because they believe that sending somebody into the government, into state house, is a reward for doing all these things. You vote for him because it's a reward. They think that if you do all these things, if he's doing, and secondly, if he's doing all these things before he becomes president, when he becomes president, he will do even more because he has the heart for the people. He will do even more. That's why. You know? So, okay. So here is the problem now. Here is the problem. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is running around like a chicken, mobilizing all these things all across the country. You know, I'm going to ask you, fellow citizens, one big question. Do you think it's cheap? Seriously, do you think it is cheap to run a national a party on a national scale? Do you think it is cheap? I'll tell you right now, the answer is no. It is not cheap. It takes millions of kwacha. Millions upon millions. Every time that he is running for president, he has to have structures in Nakonde, he has to have structures in Milunga, he has to have structures in Luapula province, like Mweru, Antipa, all those places. There has to be all constituencies. In the wards, all those structures, he has to have them. And all these, they need money to effectively to carry out the party operations. They need money. So, get into the right of it. So, you citizens who are saying, campaign hard. Campaign hard. Please campaign hard, sir. We need you to rescue us next year. We need you to rescue us. Where do you think is getting the money to undertake all these operations? Besides having to do philanthropic stuff, like sending people to school, creating jobs for you, giving somebody capital who's asking, this guy who's asking for capital, his fellow citizen are asking for capital, all these things, and then he has to run these major operations, and he has done it 6 times now, and now he's doing it for the 7th time. I'm asking you, fellow citizens, as you sit there, do you think it is cheap? Think about it. Do you think it is cheap to run a countrywide operation like that? And if it is not cheap, who is financing it? Are you financing it? Have you given even a 1 kwacha to Hakainde Hichilema in order to mobilize these campaigns? I want you to think very carefully because this is very important. It's very important. This is the essence of what happens in the country. This is the essence of how we citizens fail the country. Think very carefully about my question. Have you given even 1 kwacha to the UPND to run these operations? Have you given 1 kwacha? Since the UPND started, let's go back, and since the UPND started, every time they have run for election, have you given even 1 kwacha? So I take it you say no. You said no, you have not. And I'm not talking about the UPND members, the members of the UPND, the actual members. I'm talking to you, the citizens. The UPND members have fees. They pay the fees into the party. But the UPND members are less than 1% of the country's population, the population of Zambia. I'm talking about you, the citizens, who have a vested interest in this man, who think this man is going to deliver you, who expects the party to deliver you. And I'm asking if you have contributed anything. The answer is no. So, if the answer is no, who is financing the UPND? Huh? Let's say it's Hakainde Hichilema, right? You can say, oh wow, he's very rich, he's Hakainde Hichilema. So, you are saying, if you say that, let's take that for a moment. If you say it's Hakainde Hichilema, so you are telling me, and you are telling yourselves, you are telling all of us, we are telling ourselves that Hakainde Hichilema, he is willing to put up the hundreds of millions of kwacha to run the operations of this party. He alone. He's putting up hundreds of millions of kwacha to run the operations of this party, right? And on top of that, you are asking him to give you capital. You are asking him to send kids to school, to sponsor some students. You are asking him to do something about creating jobs before he becomes president. You are asking him to do all that. And you are telling me that you are also expecting that he is the one who would be putting up hundreds of millions of kwacha to drive the UPND. So if he's the one using it, it means right now he is drawing from wherever he has all the money that he has to throw into this thing so that he can beat the PF next year. That's what you mean by work hard, sir. Work hard, sir. You just don't work hard and anything happens. It takes money. In other words, you are telling him, spend as much as you have to spend to beat this man. Spend as much as you have to spend to go to the remotest, the most remote areas of the country and take the message there. Take ifitenge there. Go and give ifitenge to rural areas, to everybody. Spend as much as you have to. And all those ifitenge and all that stuff, even that, it takes money. All those people are receiving. It takes money. They're taking from him before he even becomes president. They're taking from him. Because the UPND has not been in government. So that all that money, all that ifitenge, all that stuff, all that cost is coming from the UPND. So Hakainde Hichilema is very unlikely. I'll tell you that right now. It is very unlikely that one man would find a national movement like this. It is not only Hakainde Hichilema. So here is what is happening. I'll tell you right now what is happening. And this happened to the PF from 2011, from 2008 to 2008 to 2011, when the PF became desperate. Because Mr. Sata was growing old. I can't do this anymore. I just lost the by-election. And now they become desperate. What are we going to do? We have to win more people, So here's what's happening in UPND. So now they became desperate. We need more money. What are we going to do? Then, since they lost in 2015. So what has been happening is now the wind of change is blowing towards the UPND. These guys missed the election last year by not so much. They're likely to win the next election. So what you have happening right now is you get people, shady characters, those people who were in government, who were part of the privatization process, people who have served as ministers, deputy ministers, permanent secretaries, or whoever, who has been part of the looting of this country in previous governments. They are all now bringing their money. Money, millions that disappeared. The windfall tax, privatization, mines being sold for $25 million instead of $25 billion. All those billions of dollars, they are in offshore accounts with some people. Sorry about that. They're in offshore accounts in the accounts of some people. So those people begin to see where the wind is blowing. So they come in and say, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, here is a donation, $10 million. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema looks at how much he has lost. He says, this will be very helpful to us. He takes it. Another one comes, I have $15 million. He comes and he takes. The UPND takes it. I have all these cadres to pay. You see what is going on? Another person comes, all these shady characters. I can name a few. Sylvia Masebo. Stumbeko Musokotwane. Nalumando. Is it Nalumando or something like that? Just to name a few. They are there. Then you also get external entities, special interests that come in because they see if these guys win, we already have a contract with this government, the current government. If these guys win, we don't want them to rescind this contract. Even mining companies can come in and say, geez, we don't want these guys to come in and then they increase our royalties or taxes, or they audit us. Even worse, auditors. We don't want that. Give him $300 million. See what I mean? Give him $300 million. How can I know? With this, I can't lose. You see what I mean? Listen to me very carefully. I can't lose. So they take in all this money because they need it. That's what they need to mount all these operations around the country. It's almost like a government in itself. It truly becomes a government in waiting. A government in waiting. And so it has absorbed all these interests and all that stuff. So they are waiting. So now you are sitting there and all you have to do is give him your vote. And he's telling you change is coming. You don't even know what change is coming. So the UPND has accepted all these, right? It accepts all these from all these different entities. When it was formed, it had a manifesto that was to deliver good governance to you, the citizens. To use your taxes to deliver services to you, the citizens. To manage the country's resources, the country's wealth, for you, the citizens, for your benefit. To be honest, every party, when it is formed with that in mind. It is formed for the people. So when all these entities now come in and put so much money into the UPND in order for UPND to win the elections, to campaign and gain enough minds to win the elections, what do you think happens to the principles of the UPND? The party is hijacked. At that point, the party is hijacked. The UPND no longer becomes no longer what it used to be. It becomes no longer what it was founded on. Because all these people that are coming in with big money, they come in, the big money means enough power to displace all those founding members of the UPND, except probably for the president and a few. Because they have to keep those few, they have to keep their name there because that's what you are after. If they removed Hakainde Hichilema, there's no UPND. UPND is synonymous with Hakainde Hichilema. So, but they come with a lot of power. Those genuine members of UPND with a heart for the people are displaced. And these people who come with a lot of money, the moment UPND, essentially they are buying stake. They become stakeholders in the UPND. They will either be given positions such as ministers, or different projects, deputy ministers. Right now they are not deputy ministers. But that's where, if Bill 10 passes, do you think the UPND, I can guarantee you, if the UPND gets into power, they will not say, let's reverse Bill 10. It won't happen. Because that adds, Bill 10 adds, right now there are 40 ministers in government. 40 ministers, unbelievable. 40 ministers. Add 40 deputy ministers. That's 80 ministerial positions. 80 ministerial positions. Now you have all these useless ministries. You can create more ministries, just to create positions for people. All the people that bring in money, they want a position. That's why the PF created all these useless ministries. Because this one has a stake. This one has a stake here. This one bought a stake. This one bought a stake. This one bought a stake. See what I'm saying? And when they win, all these people have to get all these have to get positions. And those companies, they have to get what they want. So something moving around. Look at that space bar. So the allegiance, this means the allegiance of the party is not to you, is no longer to you. The allegiance of the party is to those that funded it. So if you did not fund the operations of the party, of the UPND, you have no control on politics. We Zambians do not control politics. We never have. Because we have never donated to any cause. The reason that UNIP did so well in its first 20 years is because UNIP, there were no campaigns when UNIP came into power. There were no campaigns. There was freedom fighting and all that stuff. But that was not campaign. That was different. That was freedom fighting. Then British came up and said, okay, we are going to give you independence. Then they assumed independence. So they had no other allegiance. They owed nobody allegiance but the Zambian people. You see what I'm saying? And UNIP was nationalistic. Its manifesto is nationalist. It places Zambia at the center of everything. And at the time, it had no allegiance to anybody else because there was no reason to. It had not been funded by anybody, external or internal. No. All the people that took over the government, the leaders, including the President Kaunda, his ministers, the cabinets, and all that stuff, nobody had had bought a stake in the party or anything. They all had only one thing in mind. The only, entity they were working for was the Zambian citizenry. That's why Zambia flourished in the next 20 years. It was industries over here, industries all over the place. Luangwa Bicycle Assembly, Mulungushi Textile was booming, Kafua Textile booming, and with that, agriculture to support it, to supply all the cotton growing was all over the place. Maize, Mansa batteries, Milunga pineapple. Formulas for drinks, for soft drinks were being made right here in Zambia. There was so much industry in Zambia. It was unbelievable how much industry was in Zambia. There were more jobs in Zambia than the labor force than the labor market could supply. That's why the government did everything to create that labor. Even if you ended up in grade 10, they took you for special training, trades, just to give you a skill to go and work somewhere. Because that labor was needed. So, that's how the UNIP did so well. Right now, the UPND. Now let's come back to you, the citizens. Since you have not given even one kwacha, let me ask you this: if it takes, let me take my calculator here. If it takes 5 years, 2015 to 2016 to 2021, that's 5 years. If the party UPND is coming to you people, to all the citizens, let's say you have 4 million supporters of the UPND. 4 million. Let's just call it 4 million, right? 4 million. $4 million supporters. And they come and they say, please donate 1 kwacha every month. Every month, donate 1 kwacha. 1 kwacha. Just 1 kwacha. Okay? They are asking you to donate only 1 kwacha. Sure, you can afford to donate 1 kwacha. If you believe that the UPND and HH is going to change this country and give us a better life. We want this man to give us a better life. You are the ones who are supposed to control the politics. The people who control the politics control the economy. And if they control the economy, you are just entities to be used to sustain that economy. Which means you are going to pay up to 70% of your income to taxes. And that's the case right now. You pay up to 70%, or up to 70% of your income goes to taxes. That is pay as you earn, VAT, sales tax, road toll fees, road levy, transport levy, ERB levy, fuel traders fees. All these useless taxes. You pay them, but in aggregate, they amount to up to 70% of your income is gone to taxes. So let's go back to this calculation. If they ask you to say 1 kwacha per month, right? 1 kwacha. They come around the country, they come around the country. Please donate 1 kwacha, just 1 kwacha, and they collect 1 kwacha from 4 million people, right? 4 million people is 4 million kwacha. If they do it every month, in 1 year, it's multiplied by 12. It's 48 million kwacha. In 1 year. In 5 years, it's 240 million kwacha. 240 million kwacha. If you donate 240 million kwacha, that's a minimum. There are those that can donate 5 kwacha or 10 kwacha. You can say, please donate 1 kwacha, 2 kwacha, 5 kwacha, or 10 kwacha, whatever you have. That's how they come at you. Some people will donate 10 kwacha. Oh, 5 kwacha. Oh, I got 5 kwacha. They could raise, that's 240 million. They could raise 1 billion kwacha. They could raise 1 billion kwacha in 5 years or more from you, the citizens. Hey, they could raise 5 billion. As more and more people get in, they could raise 5, 6, 7. They could raise let me just say they could raise enough money to run the party operations. Which means, now, if they have all that money from you, the people, and somebody comes and say, here is money. Here is 1 million, $1 million or something. The UPND is in a better position to say, no, we are not going to compromise what we are, our principles, for your money. Sorry, we are fine. Our people are funding us. This is the party of the people. You see, they become difficult to corrupt. Even if they take some money, they won't take as much as they would have. They will take a little maybe, just to supplement something. But not all of it. Since you have donated 0, it means essentially you have no stake in this. All you have to do is pay taxes. They will go collect taxes from you. So the allegiance, if you have not paid anything, the government, when these guys go into power, they are not they will have no allegiance to you, the Zambian people, whatsoever. Their allegiance will be to their stakeholders, the people who have bought stakes in the company. And the change you are looking for will never come. It will be for a few months. The only thing you are going to get, is going to get some elation, At the beginning, you are going to dance in the streets. We are going to jump on each other. We are going to lift him haka in the air, just like we lifted Churuba, we lifted Manawasa, we lifted Rupia Banda, we lifted Sata, we lift them all. And it always comes back to the same thing. Oh, sometimes, how many times are you going to do this? Doing the same thing over and over again without a result. And you keep doing it is insanity. It's insanity. So I just told you why. You don't buy a steak if you do not find the party. In progressive countries, parties are funded by the people. Take the United States. There's two parties, the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. Campaigns. They campaign among the people. They send emails to people. Please donate 5 kwacha, 10 kwacha, whatever you can afford. Take Hillary Clinton when she was running for president, right? She's campaigning. She's mounting this massive campaign across the country. She raises millions. Up to 70 million raised. And what happens is, once the campaign, she lost. If the campaign, right, the operation of the campaign, only used up, let's say it used up $30 million, right? Out of 70 million, that means, let's say it used up 40 million. And 30 million was left. Then Hillary says, I lost. That's it, 30 million is left. Where do you think that 30 million goes to? Hillary Clinton, they were donating to her campaign. She doesn't take that 40 million with her. She doesn't take it. It's against the law to take it. It's money that is donated by the public. It still belongs to the public. So she doesn't take it. Do you know what happens to that money? It goes into the party treasury. And that is the money that the party uses to operate. Even when it is in power, even if the Democrat Party got into power today, they do not use public resources for their operations. No, they have their own money, donated money from the people. Every candidate that runs for something in the Democrat Party campaigns and campaigns and campaigns. Whenever their campaign is over, win or lose, what is left goes into the Democratic Party treasury. That is what the party as a structure uses for its operation, whether it's in government or not. These parties do not use public money for their operations. In our country, a party runs using public resources. And what remains for you? So they have no allegiance. They have no allegiance to you. They have no allegiance to you at all. The citizens, we do not have any allegiance. So the party is not going to do anything. It will use these contracts to get money so the special interests can take it. And what we remain with is shoddy works. Roads that, last 2 years. In the meantime, houses are mushrooming out of nowhere. People getting rich from $0 to $400 million in 6 years. That's our incumbent president. From $0 to $400 million, according to Forbes. That's how much he's worth right now. Think about that. And the reason is simple. You don't fund your government. Somebody put money in there, and that's where the allegiance is. The allegiance of the government is not for you. So the PF right now, it is not your party. It is somebody's. It can never do anything for people. It can't do it. It can't do it because it belongs to somebody else. Somebody is controlling it. So the UPND is the same thing is happening to the UPND. As long as you acknowledge you have never funded the UPND, and you acknowledge that they are spending millions of kwacha to run these campaigns, why will you be surprised if they have no allegiance to you? You can be surprised. And I'm telling you right now, they're not going to deliver anything for you. They won't do anything. That I guarantee you. As long as you do not control the politics, you don't control the economy. Those with the stakes in this party control the economy. And they control the economy, and whoever the so-called leaders have no power. That's what happens. That's what happens. The only way that you can take back your government is to fund them, or you become smart about what we do. Right now, for example, next year, right? If we become smart, let's outsmart this system, the way it works. If you are not going to donate anything, at least do something very smart. Because when at this stage the UPND is corrupted, it's not going to work for you for the reason that I just gave you. But the parties are always innocent when they are formed, when they are not smaller, when special interests have no interest in them because they don't think that they can win. So those parties are not corrupted. You understand? They still have their integrity. They still have what they stand for. They still have their principles intact. So you can be smart and not just be drawn to a party that is big. If all of you people that are saying, well, and I know this is speaking about probably the impossible right now. Probably the impossible, because there are so many minds out there that just all these people, take for example, all these people that were trying to vote for UPND, say, wait a minute, let's vote for the Labour Party. The Labour Party has a smart guy in there, or the UPP has a very smart guy in there. These two parties, especially the UPND guy, is a no-nonsense guy who would not be intimidated by any investor. I'm truly convinced that this guy would not be intimidated. This guy is country first. He's a nationalist. Xavier Chishimba. I'm talking about Xavier Chishimba. The Labour Party guy is Fresh Siwale, I believe. He's an older gentleman though. He's up in his age, so maybe that's a disadvantage, because we don't want presidents dying, in office. It's not right. But Xavier Chishimba is a young man. He's only 46. He's 46 years old, with a heck of an ambition, with a heck of a vision to dismantle the government and restructure it to eliminate corruption. Perfect vision he has. If every one of you said, let's outsmart this system and end it right now, let's vote for the UPP. And then all of a sudden, everybody votes for the UPP. Who do you think the UPP is going to owe allegiance to? Because they have not spent any massive amount of money. They haven't spent any massive amount of money. It's a small party. It's very struggling to set up things, but it has one heck of a vision. But by the time the UPP is becoming as large as the UPND, which maybe by 2026 or 2030, 2031, it will be corrupted, because all fools would have gone in there to fund it. If it gets there, I believe it won't even get there before the guy gives up, because the guy, I don't think Mr. Xavier Chishimba is the guy who would compromise his principles. I do not think so. The guy is very principled, and within his own party, he's probably not a very good person He may not be a very good person to work with because very few Zambians can align with his way of thinking. Anything that says I'm deviating from my principles is a no-go. So some people have some problems with that. But that's exactly the person you need. That's exactly the person you need to end all foolishness in Zambia. If you tricked the system, this is, it's being insidious. Play it smart. You could play this smart. Say, we are going to vote for this other party. Then everybody, don't you go and vote for the smaller party that has never been corrupted. Even if you have not funded it, it has not been corrupted because they haven't spent a whole ton of money. And their allegiance will be to the Zambian people. They will be shocked. I can't believe the Zambian people have expressed so much faith in us. And I don't care who the MPs are over there. Because the MPs, it doesn't matter. If the president of that party goes through, the president of Zambia has all the power, has all the political power. So the president who's determined and angry about what is going on as Seva Chishimba, he would change everything. From constitution, this foolishness we're dealing with about the constitution would end. It would end completely. The government, the president, even if it doesn't have MPs in there, it doesn't matter. He would choose cabinet outside of parliament. From among you professionals, the citizens. From among the professional citizens, so that government is run professionally. He would send power back to local government. Power would be back in local government, creating jobs, millions and millions of jobs, putting Zambia to work. Think about that, or think about voting for UPND. It's a foregone conclusion. You are not going to get anything. Why? They have spent millions. You didn't contribute 1 cent, one way. You didn't contribute 1 way to the UPND. They have spent millions. You didn't contribute 1 way. I will say that again. UPND has spent millions, and it has taken millions from special interests and people that are wealthy with corrupt money. And you have contributed, the citizens have contributed not 1 way. And what do you think? If nothing else that I've said makes you think twice, think about this. What is it doing with all these cadres? What do you think is going to happen to all these cadres once they get to us, to State House? All these cadres. In progressive countries, there are no cadres. So what are these cadres? They were there in MMD, they were there in BF, they are here in UPND. Here's clue number 1. If you haven't heard anything else that I've said, listen to this one. What are those? Where are those going to go? For every cadre that is there, think about a position in government that requires a professional mind, an educated mind to be there so that the government runs effectively and efficiently for the people. That position is going to be filled by a cadre. A cadre who knows nothing. The likes of Lusambo. When that cadre occupies that office, it means there's a graduate out of UNZA with a undergraduate or postgraduate degree qualified for that position. And that person is going to be roaming the streets of Lusaka, selling pakantemba. That's what it means, fellow citizens. That's what you are seeing. That's what those cadres are. Those cadres are going to be prioritized. They are loyalists to the party. They are loyalists. There's what is called cadre deployment, where the president, the party is going to appoint cadres to special positions so that they can maintain control of those positions. Because cadres are loyalists. Cadre employment means those people that were fully fighting, including beating people up, fighting for the party, are going to be given positions. Positions that are supposed to be occupied by graduates from the University of Zambia. By graduates from all these universities, from all these colleges we have around Zambia. You get cadres there, controlling the educated people. And you think the country can go anywhere? No. In summary, again, if you don't control the politics, you don't control the economy. You have no say in what happens. How do you control politics? You have to find the party that you believe in. You have to find the presidential candidate with the desirable qualities, with what you see are desirable qualities. You have to find them, citizens. That's the only way you take power. That's the only way you control politics. That's the only way you control politics. If you don't control politics, it means you don't control the economy. Somebody else controls the economy of Zambia. You have no power over it. You have no power over it. Keep me fighting about this butane. There are bigger forces behind this butane than you realize. There are probably bigger forces behind this butane than you realize. But what should you matter? Did you ever give the PF even one way to campaign? No. So they don't work for you. They simply fake it by building stupid structures like flyover bridges that you don't need in order to create an avenue for looting, for taking money and giving it to special interests and people that bought stake in the party. There are these structures, useless, completely useless structures all over, which are not even necessary. All that money you could use to, you could apply that money to failing roadways like of economic value, like the Great North Road, Great East Road, on all these roads. Those roads are of economic value to the country. They are major transport routes. Freight movement is on those roads. See? So think about that, fellow citizens. We don't fund these parties. We don't control anything. And therefore, we do not have the allegiance of these parties. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And as long as that is the state of affairs, our country is going nowhere. Our citizens will never be pulled out of poverty. And there are many of them. There are many of you that are thinking, oh, we are doing really well. We are comfortable. And geez, we are doing really well. Look at it. That's not development. That is not development. And that is really being retrogressive in thinking. That is not development. You can't be thinking you are sitting in a comfortable big house in Zambia and you say you are doing okay. The country is falling apart around you. You go around in your a Range Rover or whatever. You're going to drive. You're driving in dust. You're driving through potholes. You're driving through. You see villages with poor people and everything around you, and you're comfortable and say, "Oh, geez, I'm doing well." This and this. It's not the way it's supposed to be. This is a country of 18 million Zambians. You can't have 70% of the people living below the poverty line. It's not okay. It is far from okay. It is far from okay in a country that has billions worth of copper, billions worth of dollars, worth of emeralds, gold, platinum, cobalt, all these things. So I hope that meant something to you. Mwikwanu, Mwangana, we know that. Please start going around more. See here? See? Hear that? We know that. He's saying we know that. He's agreeing with change is coming. Please be calm. We know that. Please start going around more, especially the so-called PF strongholds. They need to hear it from you. See? He wants the UPND to send people all around the country, even more. But he's not thinking about how much it costs. Do you get my point, guys? This is a very, very serious point. It's a matter of survival or death for the country. It's a matter of survival of the country or nothing left for your descendants. That's what this means. Right now, it's too late. It may be too late. The only way is by some miracle that if the people got smart enough and voted for another party instead of the UPND, another party. To tell you the truth, even if you don't like the UPP, or the UPP is really good, but even if you don't like the UPP, but congregate, organize, and say we are going to vote for this party, and everybody vote for that party. That's the only way it can work, because whichever party that you vote for has no allegiance to anybody else but you. They have not been bought by anybody. Even all these special interests that are coming into the UPNG, they will be shocked. What happened? We lost our money. How are we going to recover our money? How do we recover our money? I'm telling you. But right now, they're comfortable sitting back like this. They're looking at all the citizens like we are fools. They are sitting back and looking at all the citizens and say, look at all these fools. Look at these fools. Here they are, trying to get rid of one vehicle for our interests, and they are going to put in another one for our interests. They're sitting back like this, just looking, watching the movie unfold. Some of you fellow citizens may be killed over this. End of your lives, things move forward for the special interests. They don't care about our country. They don't care about you. No. If I funded this entire movement, I funded the whole thing with my money, my hard-earned money. That is assuming that I did not steal from the government. I had genuinely earned money, and I poured it all into a campaign for presidency, and I win. Do you think I would like to get my money back? If I put in $100 million or $200 million, I mean, let's just call it $800 million. I put $800 million. That's too much. Maybe that's too much. Let me call it $400 million into a campaign of my money. Do you think I will want it back when I go to State House? Yeah, I want my money back. You have to pay. Even if I'm especially if, let's say I'm a man of integrity, and I've spent all that money, I go to State House, right? All the money, I'm assuming, assuming all the money came from me. I'm one man who funded it. Nobody else did. Perhaps it will be even better for you. Let me say, I'm a man of integrity. I love my country. Genuinely, I want to do something. And I put up $400 million to campaign until I win. I go to State House. Do you think I want my money back first? Yeah, I will. Want my money back. Now, is it probable that I am going to deliver much better service to you because I'm the only one who funded the party? Sure, I would look at, okay, I have a 5-year mandate. I'll look at how long can I get my money back? And what am I going to do to get my money back? Well, I'm gonna have a stake in here. I need to have a stake in there. I gotta have that contract over there. I gotta have that contract over there. I need my company over there to get all the contracts for that. I need my company over there to get my contracts for that. Because I'm alone. Maybe you might be lucky. Because all the taxes that you are paying, I'm going to probably direct them to saving you. I can get my money back from the minerals, from copper. But that's when it's me. I am me alone. I am a man of integrity. Because it is not fair for me to put up $400 million while you are just sitting over there and you all have a stake in the country. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? It is not one man. This is the people of Zambia changed the country, not one man. The people of Zambia changed the country, not one man. Not Hakainde Hichilema alone. Not anybody alone. As long as you are not contributing, you do not fund your campaign, the campaigns of the people that you believe in. Their allegiance is not to you. Especially when they are surrounded by people that have come to stake their interest in the party. Because if I funded you myself, I can tell anybody, you didn't fund it. You didn't fund this. I did. So I'm going to do this. At least I need to get those people out of poverty there. Because I know I'm going to get my money from here, from here, from here, from here. You would be better off if that was the case. But right now, it is not the case. Because Mr. Hichilema did not fund the UPND by himself. I guarantee you that. There are people sitting with him in the UPND. There are entities, probably, very probably, mining interests, mining companies, investors, putting money in there so their royalties can go up. The Chinese government. We don't want our people to suddenly lose their twin timbers and all that stuff we don't want you to reintroduce the taxes. We want the tax havens to continue. See what I'm saying? The so-called investors from China who come and set up in twin timber, they don't pay taxes for 5 years. Close to 5 years, they fold. They go. They reconstitute. They come back as another company. They start over with no interest for another 5 years. That's what happens. So think about that. The power is in the Zambian people. As long as you sit back expecting somebody else to spend money for you, it will never happen. They cannot spend money. You cannot expect anybody to spend money on your behalf. Millions and millions of dollars while you're sitting back and expect a change to happen. And expect that they will be working for you. Guys, it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. Even to you, anybody who's sitting and listening to this, it does not make any sense. That's why the country is falling apart. That's why you have no control on the country. They owe you no allegiance. They're under capture. This is what is called state capture. It's called state capture. Mr. Lungu can't do anything about it. Nobody can do it. Can do anything about it. It's state capture because you sold stakes in the party. Therefore, you sold stakes in the state. That's what is called state capture. And can't do anything for you, guys. Please be well, guys. Fellow citizens, be well. Watch out for COVID-19, guys. Watch out for COVID-19. COVID-19 is real. Especially right now. I think I want to tell you something about COVID-19. It's the spread of COVID-19. Just to digress a little bit. In closing here, I just wanted to give some advice on COVID-19. Do not relax. This is a very critical time to watch out for what you do. to watch out, avoid. It's very difficult in Zambia to avoid crowds. But if you can avoid crowded buses and all that stuff, and wear masks and all that stuff, do it. Because COVID-19 is an insidious virus. Each spread follows a logistical growth curve. I don't know if you know what that means. It follows a curve that does this. Slowly infiltrating. Very few cases, 1 or 2 a day, increasing 1 a day, 1 at a time. This process here can take months, even 6 months. And then when it reaches a breaking threshold, it begins an exponential spread. It explodes into an exponential spread and it starts going up like this. So every day the number of people infected is higher than the previous one. The number of people infected per day rise. The number of infections, the rate of infection rises exponentially. It's exponential growth. So today is 200 people are infected. Tomorrow 400 people are infected. The next day 900 people are infected. The next day 1,300 people are infected. The next day 1,400 people are infected. The following day 1,500 people are infected. The next day 2,000 people are infected. The following day 5,000 people are infected. The following day 8,000 people are infected. The following day 10,300 people are infected. That's what happens. That's what this is. And it can happen. These signs are not good. The signs of people dropping here and here, dying, are not good. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourselves. Because this can get really, really bad. It can get really, really bad. My prayer is that it does not. But please, fellow citizens, take good care of yourselves. And watch your kids too. Watch your kids where they play around and all that stuff, because you need to keep them. You need to know where they are, because they can contract it, then bring it to the most vulnerable. That would be those people who have pre-existing conditions and the elderly people. It's the kids that can go around, pick it up, and maybe don't get sick themselves, or just get mildly sick, but they come back home and they give it to your grandma or your mother. Then she dies. That's what happens. And when it comes to death, all those rates, all those infections I was telling you about, there's another curve following behind it for deaths. Today, 20 people die. Then the exponential begins. Tomorrow, 40 people die. The next day, 70 people die. The following day, 110 people die. The following day, 175 people die. The following day, 232 people die. The following day, 500 people die. The following day, 678 people die. The following day, 992 people die. The following day, 1,300 people die. To the point that the only way to stop that alarming trend is for the government to shut everything down. No, there may be no option for the government to say, stop, everything shut down. But when that happens, the government must be prepared to feed the people. Because there are Zambians who cannot manage to stay home without going somewhere to earn their living. They must be. This is why your vote is so important. I'm telling you, this is why your vote is so important, and you determine whether you control the economy or not. Because all those billions that are wasted, because you don't have control on the economy and the people that are in there, because you never funded the government, you never funded the party, the politics, you never control them. All that 42 million, let's call that $42 million. $42 million. The responsible government, in this situation, they would say too many people are going to die. Everything is locked down. Nobody go anywhere, please. Unless you are going to buy some food or something like that, or we are going to have special the military delivering food to people. so that you don't have to get out of your homes and all that stuff. Deliver sanitizers. Can the government do that out of just $42 million? How many people can be fed in Zambia? With the wealth that we have in Zambia, we will be able to feed every citizen in the country for 6 months. They don't work. We feed them for 6 months. There are billions that we lose every year. Billions of US dollars. We can feed our citizens for 1 year. Everybody stays where they are until the spread is curved down and brought down and is brought down to zero. All the government is doing is using special forces, our military men and women in uniform, and they go out and distribute food to citizens, and support the emergency medical personnel with PPE and all that stuff, support essential employees such as those who provide electricity, such as those who provide water distribution and sanitation services. Those are essential. Support them and give them the proper equipment to protect themselves. Everybody else, stay home. You are not essential. Communications, those are essential. Communications must be going, because some people may be working from home. You need the internet up. That's the kind of thing that the government is needed to do. In Zambia, it will be very possible with all the wealth that we have. But if we don't have all that wealth and the government has wasted all this stuff, this is where the country comes to pay a price. Because God forbid, if it comes to such an exponential growth of this disease, exponential spread, hundreds of thousands of people can die. And the government is impotent with big copper reserves sitting in the country. Big reserves of copper sitting in our ground. Hundreds of thousands of people can die. It makes me sad. If it doesn't make you sad, I don't know what's wrong with you. If that does not make you sad, and COVID-19 only requires the intervention of government to say stop. It doesn't care whether you are rich, whether you are comfortable living in a house or some sort, where you are what and what. It doesn't care. You are the same. Minister, president, whoever it is, you are the same. Just to speak to what I am telling you about, why it is important for what you do with your vote can mean the difference between life and death. Literally. I've just given you an example of this. But watch it carefully. Stay home. The government right now is in discordance. It's uncoordinated. They don't know what they're doing. I don't think they're going to protect you, the citizens. You have to be responsible on your own. You are on your own. They're not what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. The minister of health, hounded, is under corruption, is out there. He's the one who is dragging people without masks in crowds into court and all that stuff. Where's the seriousness? When hospitals begin to overflow, when graves begin to fill up, God forbid. So, guys, fellow citizens, that was my comment. I hope you got something out of this. Continue dreaming, HH, because dreams are free of charge. Wow. So anyway, those are the comments. You see, yeah, more and more citizens. I love you, Bali. I want change, but you sometimes leave me with doubts. There's someone who's thinking a little bit. Tell me more about the exact change you will bring. And like promising me change. That's what you all have to think about. No one has asked these guys what it stands for. How are you going to how are you going to end corruption? You know, if you haven't finished watching my previous video, please do, because it has a lot of information in it. It's called Change Will Only Come When We Change. That's the theme of my previous talk. Please look at it. And I know Zambians, Zambians, this is the problem with Zambians. This is what we have, because everything that I've been explaining to you right now, a lot of citizens should know that, but we have a culture of taking information piecemeal. You only want one sentence. You're only excited about one sentence. That's why all the politics are driven by slogans. You don't want to read, or you don't want to listen to a whole discussion. That's the problem. It's a problem we have. Even when you are going through education, you have to read whole chapters. You don't read a psychology book, one line here and jump to the next chapter. You read one line here. You won't pass the exam. In order to be educated, you have to read whole chapters. Whole chapters prescribed for the course. You have to read them all. That's how you get the knowledge and become a qualified psychologist. If psychologist is your major. So please listen to these messages. If they interest you, if what I've said makes any sense to you, you read it. It adds on to what I discussed in my previous video, and all my other videos. So fellow citizens, take care. COVID-19 out there. Be safe. Take care for the safety of your loved ones, your elderly, your mothers, your grandmothers, those with pre-existing conditions. Please take good care of them. Watch your kids. Make sure you know where they are. Keep your sanitizer. Nefya kufutikila. Mwakwata kwefya kufutikila munganda. Eucalyptus mwafutikila kumunganda, so that when you see somebody in your household, because when somebody gets infected in your household, I guarantee you 100% everybody is going to get it. It can affect you differently, but all of you are going to get it. But if somebody starts to exhibit respiratory symptoms, for example, coughing uncontrollably, or start to run a fever all of a sudden, take that kufutikila, because kufutikila, it helps to slow down the virus from attacking your lungs. The virus is after your lungs, so if you can do that, it will help significantly, or at least make your infection, your disease a moderate one. Doesn't become severe, so you start running out of breath and then you die, because in Zambia we don't have ventilators, or there are so few ventilators that you won't get one, or you may find the hospital full, then you can't get oxygen. So you have to do everything you can, even if you don't know that it's COVID. As long as you start experience symptoms of a respiratory nature, treat it like COVID. Mwambo kufutikila, yambeni kufutikila, and treat everybody well. Confine yourselves and all that stuff. But yambeni kufutikila, because you are not going to get a test easily. You may not be able to get a test easily. So tampo kufutikile rodine before it gets to a point where you have to go to the hospital. Prevent going to the hospital. But because if you go to the hospital, Baramana says they won't give you a hot cup of tea. They won't turn you on your back. They won't do anything for you other than give you 2 tubes in your nose to bring for oxygen. Chapa. And then everything is up to you. This is where the lungs are, and all that stuff. So just free advice. Think about those things. So do as much as you can at home before somebody need to go to the hospital. If you can prevent somebody going to the hospital, the better chance, the chance that they will not die from COVID-19. Okay. I love you, fellow Zambians. Be well, and we'll see you.